Cruis'n Blast. This game apparently was an arcade game. I didn't realize this until just now. So this was an arcade game that came out in like 2017, and then it was brought to the Switch in 2021. I have to admit I am not like the biggest fan of the Cruis'n games, and it's not because I think they're bad. It's just that like I didn't own an N64 during the day, you know. I maybe played Cruis'n USA in the arcades like a couple of times, and I thought it was okay. It's an arcade racing game. At the time, I liked my racing games to be realistic. Even if they were arcade-like in the physics, I still like the cars to be like licensed cars from the real manufacturers. And like Cruis'n was one of those games where the cars tried to look somewhat realistic without being licensed. So like you had a car that was like obviously supposed to be a Dodge Viper, but it wasn't a Dodge Viper. And I don't know, back then that sort of bothered me. But this is an arcade game that is so over the top. It's almost a parody of arcade style racing games, and just everything in this game is ridiculous, but it doesn't bother me because that's the point. It's like the point is how ridiculous can it be. In this game you can do backflips and like, you know, 360s in the air, and you can unlock a unicorn. You can unlock a freaking unicorn. You can play as an attack helicopter. Playing as an attack helicopter, it can drift. It makes no sense, but it's hilarious. It's just everything about this is over the top. It's super fast-paced. The controls are easy to pick up. On normal difficulty, it's kind of too easy, but then you unlock hard, and the difficulty definitely ramps up quite a bit just from normal to hard. So there's definitely a lot of challenge to be had here. Some of the races are kind of short, and there's maybe not enough tracks. Not as many tracks as I would like. But again, now that I know this was an arcade game, that kind of makes sense. And I think this, because this is done, I think this is done pretty well. I think like when this came out on the Switch, I mean, I remember a lot of people talking and praising it. So I mean, I assume it's sold pretty well, maybe better than, you know, the publishers expected. And so yeah, this would be like the perfect game for a sequel, because as a sequel made for the handheld, or made for the console, and not like the arcade, yeah, they could work on a lot more tracks, and, you know, maybe make some of the tracks a little bit longer. That's my only complaint, is some of the tracks are really short, and there's not enough like variety in the tracks. There is a lot of variety in what's there. Like if there's like 8 tracks, there's a lot of variety within that, and there's multiple times you race on the same track or similar, where certain things have slightly changed, but it's still the same track underneath some changes. So yeah, that's my only minor complaint. Otherwise, it's a super fun game, easy to pick up, and it's just fun. That's honestly, it's just fun. I think it looks great, especially on the Switch. Like playing it on the small screen, I think it looks great. If you blow this up to a 65-inch 4K TV, I'm sure it looks like garbage, honestly. But when I'm just playing it on the little 6-inch 720p screen or whatever's on the Switch Lite, I think it looks great, and like genuinely looks great. Most of the time. Sometimes it's, you know, looks fine. You know, there are some parts that could look better, but overall I think it's a good looking game, especially on the small screen. And it wasn't full price either. Like I paid $50 for this. I don't know, maybe when it came out like last year, maybe it was more expensive, but I just picked it up recently in a shop, and it was like brand new for $50. So not a full price game, and I think it was worth it. I think it's a great game, and I'm actually looking forward to the sequel because, again, this is like the perfect candidate for a sequel where they can just add a lot more to it. Yeah, so that's Cruis'n Blast. I would say check it out if you like arcade racing games. If you're looking for something on the Switch that you can pick up and is just like fast, over-the-top racing, this is perfect. And, you know, again, I wasn't even a huge fan of the old Cruis'n games, so take that for what it's worth. But yeah, it's definitely worth checking out, I think. See you later.